This memorial memorializes those who died, at least some of those who died in the Great War of 1914-1918. And it's in St. James Park. These are government buildings here, and the Prime Minister lives back inside there, is where number 10 Downing Street is. If you look at the map here, you can get a sense of that. Where I am is where the Horse Guard is. The number 10, I'm right to the left of that approximately now, a little bit more than that, more like in the middle of the Horse Guards, but on the street where St. James is opposite it. So you can see that number 10 Downing Street is to my right, and this is the Horse Guards apparently in here, and I guess that's the old Admiralty there. And I'm going to walk through here to get to the main drag, because I want to go back and see the cenotaph, whatever it is. Down there, with a lamp in front, is number 10 Downing Street. This is the cenotaph, if that's how you pronounce it, which is a monument to the dead of World War I and World War II. Contains no religious memorabilia or emblems, because the people who died were of all creeds, religions. Wouldn't it be something if the world could get to that point? And just to the north of 10 Downing Street on Whitehall is the Women of World War II Memorial. And I suspect that the individual garments perhaps represent different roles that they played. Slowly working my way north on Whitehall Street to Trafalgar Square. I managed to spend 5 hours at the Churchill Museum. It's that compelling. This is the banqueting hall, whatever that implies. And across the street is the old Scotland Yard building. This is Trafalgar Square, and this is the National Gallery with portraits of famous people, which the guide Rick Steves suggests might normally be taken with little excitement. In fact, holds some very worthwhile photographs, drawings or paintings even for the non-British traveler. And at all four corners were erected these bases, if you will, for giving tribute to the four most prominent of Admiral Navy, naval admirals. And I'm guessing this would have been during the time of Victoria, perhaps, when Britain was at its zenith in naval power. Unfortunately, the entire Nelson Trafalgar tribute post or monolith or tower has been placed in a state of restoration. There's some whimsy displayed, because you can see the image of that monument on the outside of this covering to protect the workers, but some whimsy involved in it, as though it had been sunk in water. Some sculpture perhaps alluding to Britain's prowess at sea. The dolphins spraying water from their spout. The fountain. The third statue on its pedestal of a admiral. Still another sculpture. And panning to the fourth pedestal, we see, oops, for whatever the reason, this was never completed with an admiral's statue and is now holds on occasion whimsy. This church is St. Martin's in the Field, and notice again it's under extensive renovation. Much of London's hallmarks are under restoration. That must be very expensive, but it was something that we noticed, the darkness of the buildings from the age-old pollution. Street full of restaurants, including Pizza Hut. Man, it looks like a little park, which I'll go over and grab a seat in. As I knew from the map, I didn't realize when I was here, Leicester Park is right next to Trafalgar Square, and here I am. All of that was not visible because of the opening of the movie Poseidon, its London premiere. I'm not sure if there was any sun the other day. Back down the same street to the National Gallery because I want to get a little bit of video of George Washington and St. Martin's in the Field. I would eat here, but it's too breezy, so I'll go back to London Bridge and eat. Back at Trafalgar Square again, get a little bit better shot of St. Martin in the Fields. Statue presented to the people of Great Britain and Ireland by the Commonwealth of Virginia in 1921. Fun just to sit here and watch the people, particularly in the sun. So that's what I'll do. I think I finally got it. The point is, what if things change and this elevation of water rises to a height that London's now buried just to the feet of Nelson. putting him ironically once more back at sea. What's interesting about the outside, this portion of the outside of the Suffolk Cathedral, is it looks like it's made out of flint or chert. You get a little bit closer there. Why many of them have that white outline, I don't know, although I do know that I've seen that white on chert or on flint. Behind this sign is the reproduction of the Golden Hind, which encompassed the world 1577 to 1580 with Sir Francis Drake. This reproduction actually has traveled 140,000 miles and around the world, commissioned by Elizabeth I. But it's interesting here to look at this. It reads St. Mary's Overies Dock. I won't touch that. From the 16th century. Notice this dock is a free landing place at which the parishioners of St. Saviour's Parish are entitled to land goods free of toll. The legend of Mary Overy in a nutshell is that John Overs, a waterman and apprentice, had a ferry here back around the 10th century. He was such a miser that he devised a plan to save money by pretending that he had died, figuring that his servants and family would save a day's provisions by not eating. In fact, they feasted and made merry. Quite the contrast. He leapt out of bed but was killed by one of his family members because they thought he might be the devil. His daughter sent for her lover, who, in haste to claim the inheritance, fell from his horse and broke his neck. She was so overcome that she took all of the money she'd inherited and made an orphanage, a convent to which she retreated. It was a convent dedicated to charity, and as a consequence, during the Reformation, the Church of St. Mary Overy was renamed St. Saviour's Church and became Suffolk Cathedral and the Collegiate Church of St. Saviour and St. Mary Overy. Quaint story. These visible remains were once alongside the Thames, but now the street over time had been filled in since the 12th century. Well, wandering about the streets and finally following the directions I was given, but close enough, knowing where I roughly was. I'm outside the Borough Market, and this is Park Street. And Park Street is said is a good place to come to because they use it as a filming for the ambience of Old England. So I'll wander through the ambience. I think most of London, at least down here, in the areas that are within the relative what's called the city. There was the Borough Street Market up there, which is absolutely great on Friday afternoon and Saturday. And Neal's Yard Dairy. I'll come down here tomorrow afternoon on my last day and pick up some cheese for the trip to France.
I didn't say I haven't stopped.
This is the Victoria and Prince Albert Museum. I'm not going to go there now. It's the Victoria and Albert Museum. But I'm sitting in the shade of the clouds. I thought I'd get some close-up of the outside of the building. Presumably this is Prince Albert, consort of the Queen, I think it was. Sun. All the pillars have detail. Those drilled holes are for, are they actually air infiltration?